All right, we're live.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Kentucky Sustainable Living, where we are talking about all things festival. We've got Jane with us, who's our resident sourdough expert, and Leslie, who is going to be doing all of the herbal stuff. Both of them are going to be at the festival. You'll want to come check it out, meet both of them, learn everything that they're going to teach you. They're both doing workshops. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, I'm super excited. We got a full house tonight, so I like it. I mean, we're gonna cover everything sourdough to herbal stuff, and probably I don't know what rabbit holes we'll get down, but we'll get down.
Oh, there'll be one or two because Jason can't get off of a live without going down a rabbit hole.
Forrest is the first one here. And
hey, Forrest. What's up, man?
Forrest is going to be doing food. He's going to have all kinds of. Is it going to be Cajun or Creole? I don't want to make him mad.
Ooh. I think it's Cajun.
Yum.
Yeah.
So he's doing all that yummy hot stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah. And then Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Bill followed on in. Bill's always here.
Always.
So Bill gets the notifications. I know that. So, but yeah. Cajun.
He said Cajun.
Okay.
Nice.
I think he's gonna have like boudin sausage and cat and some stuff like that. So, all right, Leslie, you are coming back. What is this the third? This will be the third time, won't it?
I guess I've been there since the very first festival. So
yeah, she's been at every one. So
I've been at every single one.
All right.
Yeah.
Fourth. Okay. Well, that's right.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah, the very first one, you're like, I've got to go. You had a wedding or something like that, and you could stay like for one day.
Yeah, I think I did one single plant walk or something.
Yeah.
On the first one, and then.
Oh yeah, and then you're like, it is so awesome. I'm clearing my calendar.
That's it.
What's going on?
I mean, yeah. Now the moment y'all tell me the dates, the calendar's blocked off. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if we can get your uncle to cancel that show, that
I know.
He called me the other day, and he's like, man, he said, Leslie's going to have some knives with her. My buddy's going to be up there. Like, as soon as you know the next one, he's like, tell me when the date's going to be, and I'll be there. And I was like, all right. I was like, I hate that he's not going to be there. So
he hates it too. He's sad about it. He just already committed to that other thing. But if anybody listening wants knives, I'm going to have a bunch of key custom knives at my booth also, with all my stuff. So,
I bought one of those knives from him at the last festival that it has a special name. I don't know what it's called, but it's got like a curved blade with a handle on top to cut herbs and stuff.
Yes.
Can't find that doggone thing anywhere.
Are you kidding?
Like, I packed up all of my stuff. It may be in my festival totes. I don't know. I have not seen it since that festival. I cannot find it anywhere. I'm so frustrated.
Hopefully when you unpack
now.
Yeah, you need it. Maybe when you unpack the totes for this year, it'll just be waiting for you.
I hope I find it.
Yeah, those are really nice.
All right. Well, let me see. Bill wants to know about his opinions on Tony's seasoning.
He wants to know Forrest's opinion on Tony's seasoning.
I've used some of those before. They're not too awful bad, but I don't cook Cajun. So, but
I love andouille sausage. It's like my favorite. I love it.
Oh, it is. It's good stuff. I wonder if we could do like Cajun sourdough. Jane, you think you could throw something like that together?
That would be really good. My first thought is like croutons. We keep the Tony's like seasoning in our kitchen and throw it on so much, but that would be really good on croutons.
That
would be in a salad. Heck yeah, it would be.
Mm-hmm. That'd be baller.
I used that. I bought some of that Kidder seasoning, and that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's probably loaded with all kinds of crap you don't need. But
yeah, I mean, I make all my own seasonings from herbs, so I don't know.
I know.
Forrest, I think you need to bring some alligator.
Ooh, I would eat some alligator.
I love some alligator.
Yes, fried alligator is awesome.
Oh Lord.
All right. Come out of the rabbit hole. Forrest said that's what he uses. All right. Oh, well, Forrest said he's coming out.
He's developing his own. So we'll be buying Cajun seasoning from Forrest. Heck yeah.
Nice.
We'll have to get an affiliate link and everything for that deal.
I'm excited.
All right, Leslie, what have you got planned for the festival?
Well, every day the festival.
We always one up everything.
Yeah, of course. Every day I'll be offering workshops. So I'll be doing like workshops that are good for beginners or people who have some familiarity but want to go a little bit deeper. And then on the very last day, I'll be doing an advanced herbal workshop. And that's for all of y'all who've already, got your feet wet in the herbal world. You know what a tincture is, you know what a salve is, but you want to go a little deeper in terms of understanding herbs. And specifically for that workshop, we're going to talk more about herbal energetics and how do you formulate herbs? How do you know which herbs to put together for which person? Because, I think there's a lot of misconception in the media world of herbalism about how it's just an herb for a thing and it's that simple, but it's really not that simple in practice because it depends on the person and it depends on everything else about your situation and scenario and other conditions you have and how your body works. So understanding more of that. So we're going to be able to dive deep into everything. But also I'm going to be leading plant walks, which is one of my favorite things where we just walk around out there and look at all the plants and we learn what they are, which ones are edible, which ones are medicinal, talking a little bit about how you can harvest and utilize them. And then also I just talked to Shelly this week. I'm going to offer something for the kiddos. We're going to do a little plants and potions session for any kids that are going to be there. And it's going to be super fun. We're just going to get to learn a little bit more about plants and the kids can make a little potion to take home with them. And then beyond all the workshops, I'm going to have set up at my booth a little bit of like a little medicine making station, a little bit different than I had last year, but you'll get your chance to make hands-on medicine and take it home. And I'll also be offering mini herbal consultations at my booth. So if you have a specific issue, I'll be able to talk to you a little bit more in depth and then possibly offer you a remedy if I have it on hand. So that'll be a new thing, because last year I didn't offer that, but this year I'll be offering that as well.
That sounds awesome. Now with the kids, when you're doing the potions, are you going to like wear your witch hat and stuff?
Maybe I should. That'd be fun.
You should get a witch hat and wear it and be like, hey,
yeah,
make potions, do like the cauldron with the stuff.
I have a big cast iron pot that looks like a cauldron, so I'll have to bring it. We can get some dry ice and get the smoke coming off it,
and the kids would freak out about that.
Yeah, it would be fun. I mean, they like plants even when I'm not wearing a witch hat. Kids love it. They're so natural. It's so intuitive. They really just love it. So
my grandkids have done that walk with you every time that you've done at the festival, and they love it. Clara Beth is just she thinks you're amazing. She's ate up with everything that you teach her. She loves it.
I think she's amazing, and she remembers everything I say.
Yeah, she's a smart little thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know where we were, and she was there, and she was like bringing stuff to Jessica. And it's like, look, Mom, look what I found. Look at this. Look at this. Like a whole handful of stuff, and I was like, goodness. So,
I mean, when kids get on this, they just like go for it, and it's so sweet. I taught a bunch of plants and potions summer camps. That's what I was doing the past 3 weeks. Full weeks of teaching kids plants. And one of my little students has one of those, like, I don't know what it's called. It's a little watch where he can text his parents. And it's only his parents or whoever contacts they put in it. And he asked me, he said, can I put your name in my contacts so that I can send you pictures of plants? And I was like, well, you have to ask your parents if you can. And he did. And they said yes. And they put me as a contact. And all week long, I'm getting his little messages. Can I eat this? Can I eat this?
I love it.
It is the best.
It's not about making medicine. It's like, what kind of food is out there?
That's it. He's obsessed. He's like, I'm going to know every edible plant that is in my neighborhood.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the plant walk that you do, Western keeps everything manicured. I mean, it's mowed and everything like that. There's some wild areas once you get down by the fencing and stuff. But still, the amount of stuff that you can find in essentially a manicured yard you find a ton of stuff down there, don't you?
Yeah. And I mean, most people don't understand or know because they're not looking close. And people think, oh, that's grass. any lawn is just grass. But if you look up close, you know, there's violet leaf, there's plantain leaf, there's dandelion. You know, in the springtime, there's speedwell, there's clover flowers, there's ground ivy, dead nettle. I mean, so many things just in the stuff we call grass. And then when we get down to the fence row, and then there's a little wild, untamed space by the trees back there across from the fence. And that's just filled with like vines and trees that are all edible and medicinal. So there's tons of stuff to look at out there.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing. Just because you've got a lot of manicured space at your house, even if you're on an acre lot, there's still some stuff. It goes to show you there's still stuff that you can go out just in your yard and grab.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, dandelion's the perfect example because dandelion is one of the most nutrient dense plants that grows in the wild in our area. And it's in every single lawn. You can't find a place without dandelion. You know, even the places that spray for dandelions have the dandelions come right back up.
Right.
But they're the most nutrient dense. They have more vitamins and minerals than anything that you could buy in a store or grow in your garden. And so
you can eat every part
you can eat every part, and every part is medicinal. And it's not just like weak medicine, it's potent medicine. We're talking about liver supportive properties in the roots. We're talking about gallbladder support, digestive support. And then in the leaves and flowers, we're talking about kidney support, urinary tract support. Even the milky sap in the stem can help with wart removal, you know? So every single part of that plant is food and medicine. And yet people are just trying to kill it and eradicate it because they have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would add in, even you're talking about even in a small amount of space. I live in the city, like I live in Davidson County on 0.04 acres of space. And after taking classes and learning the plants and learning how to identify them, almost all of the plants that Leslie has mentioned are growing in my yard, like in a very urban setting, like that are still accessible. Like you don't have to live on a whole lot of space for this sort of thing to be applicable to you.
Yeah,
exactly.
And hey, what we'll do tonight, whoever's in the chat, if you want to start leaving questions, we're going to talk a little bit. Go ahead and start popping your questions in. We'll get those about herbal stuff, about sourdough, a rabbit hole you want to go down, whatever. Start popping those in as we're talking. So, but do that, and then that way we'll get to them here in just a little bit. But Jane, we want to talk some sourdough. We don't want to leave you out. Tell us how you got in. Leslie's been on the channel before, and a lot of people know how she got into everything. Tell us how you got into being the sourdough queen of Nashville.
I didn't know I had that moniker, but like, okay.
They told us. So.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna try not to go into too many rabbit holes. I grew up in Europe, so that's important because I grew up on a different kind of bread than what is stereotypical over here. And so when I moved back to the States and I had my own family and I had my own kids and I was starting to feed them and just going down into learning all about that, I was like, no, you're not going to grow up on this. This is not the bread that I want you to default think of as bread. You're going to grow up on real bread. And the only way to really access that was for me to make it myself. And kudos to my mom. I grew up definitely with a concept of we make it ourselves, whether it's cake or whatever it was, we make it ourselves. We don't do box mix, whatever. So it was very natural to just default to, I'm going to make my own bread. But that was, again, very enriched bread with commercial yeast. And it just kind of, snowballed. One thing led to another. I got started on that. And then I found this website called Serious Eats, and they very much go into the science of why you do different things in cooking. which really resonated with me and made sense. I was like, okay, I understand then, like, this is why we do these things. So that liberated me from recipes. And then I'd say maybe about 10 years ago, I was like, I'm such an all or nothing person. Like, I don't want to just make bread from scratch. I want to do it with as few ingredients as possible. And that's where sourdough comes in. Like, we're just talking salt, flour, and water.
Yep.
That's it. And it was very intimidating though, and I tried for probably 4 to 5 years to get into sourdough. And so many people have so many different opinions and strong opinions about this is how you do sourdough and this is the best way to do it. And if you're going to be successful, you need to do it this way. And some of them are contradicting. And I just got overwhelmed. And for my brain, we just shut down and say, well, never mind. We cannot access this. And eventually I found this one person on Instagram and she was like, y'all, I'm going to do Instagram live stories. You tune in with me. We're going to do the starter and we're going to feed it and you're going to do it with me, blah, 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 blah. And that's what got me into it. And through that whole process, I realized sourdough is so forgiving and it is so versatile. And that's why there are so many people out there with so many different opinions, because you can have a lot of different opinions and it can work for so many different people. And so the thing that I get really passionate about with sourdough is making it accessible and approachable, and you do not have to do it one way. My goal whenever I teach a class or when I teach people how to do sourdough is, here's how I do it. My goal is to give you a ramp to get into the water and you can do it the way I do it. But if you're feeling like doing something slightly different, give it a try. It'll probably work. Like, I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping with sourdough, and my goal is to just make it more approachable than I feel like it kind of tends to be, if that makes any kind of sense.
I love that because I completely agree with you. And my 2 oldest daughters, they're making sourdough stuff. They make the most delicious sourdough cookies. They're just absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah.
But they've been experimenting and learning about sourdough and everything. And there's so many that I have been frustrated with it, trying to figure it out because, like you say, there's so many people out there with so many differing opinions. Some people say that you've got to measure exactly in grams. Some people are like, oh, you just throw a 1/4 cup in there or whatever, and they're like, set it here or set it there, leave it open, cover it up, do that. I mean, it's insane. And when it doesn't work right, then you're like, well, I didn't do it because I didn't measure exactly, or I just failed. And it's so frustrating. Yeah. So I totally relate to what you're saying.
It's so, I mean, when I was starting out, I was reading even things about like, well, you can't use a metal spoon to mix the thing together. You have to use a wooden spoon. And if you don't use a wooden spoon and it fails, well, that's the reason. And then other people are like, well, if it fails, it's because you didn't use this type of filtered water, but like, there are a lot of reasons why it might not work, but it's just going to be more specific to your environment, and you can just like do what feels right to you and vibe with it, and like that's the route you should go. Like, it's not as difficult as I feel like most people would have you believe, but it's hard to find that like starting place to get into it, like to get into the current, if I don't know.
Yeah, it's overwhelming when you read those instructions that are like, this is the timing, and if you don't wake up at 7 a.m. and feed your start, and all those minutes. And when I first started it, it was like that, and now I'm like, oh, I can let it rest I can forget about it between stretch and folds, and I still have a loaf of bread. Like, it doesn't care.
It's so forgiving, and I feel like I'm glad that you said that, because that reminded me of like the other part. Like, I feel like people do, like, you don't know what you don't know, but it is a it's a, not to get too woo woo goofy, but it's a living thing. It's yeast. These are active living things that eat and reproduce. And like, I think of them as little pets. So when you have your starter and you're feeding them food, you're feeding them water, they're actually living things. And so when you're mixing your dough and you're watching it rise and deflate and blah, 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 all that stuff, you don't have to stick to a strict schedule, because you can just like look at it and kind of be like, how are you feeling today? You could go a couple 6 more hours and be fine, right? I think so. It's gonna be fine, because like, you have to get to know it personally and individually, and I don't know. It's a lot more intuitive than I think people would have you believe.
It's like your
Yeah,
little
you just
pet.
yeah. You got to feel it in your heart, like I tell everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
That and like this way, they've been doing sourdough for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And they didn't have scales to measure grams. They did. I mean, and they made it work. It all happened. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand why people have to be so like snobby about it. It's just,
well, and it requires us to use our senses, which I think is something that we have become disconnected from, whether it's with like, is this milk still good? Well, let's look at the date printed on it. Yeah, that's important, but also like sniff it with your nose and look at it with your eyes. Does it look bad? Does it smell bad? Does it taste bad? If not, then it's fine. I don't care what the date printed on it is. Like, it encourages us to go back to relying on all of our senses, which we should do more than we do now.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I always smell the milk before I look at the date. And if it's too far, I'm like, yeah, we're not doing this. But if it's right there, I'm like, yeah, we'll smell it. And if it's good, we'll go for it. So
yeah, you can use your senses. They're informative. They're there for a reason.
Well, and it's what's funny when you're talking about what you can do with the sourdough and everything. My mom makes sourdough bread all the time. And when she makes the loaves, I don't really like it, honestly, her sourdough. But she does it in rolls now and puts them in like a pan and makes little rolls. It tastes totally different, and I'm like, holy cow, these things are amazing. She's like, it's the same stuff as that loaf bread. And I'm like, no, it's different. So it just tastes totally different. And then she'll do cinnamon rolls, and cinnamon
rolls are so good,
so good.
Those
y'all, but wait till you actually taste Jane's sourdough. Like, I make sourdough, but I still think Jane's sourdough is like the yummiest sourdough. Just wait for it.
Thank you.
Well, hey, Jane, you need to have some ready, because Kitchen Queen is a wood stove manufacturer. I think they're in Madisonville. They're going to be down there, and they're going to have a demo unit of a wood cook stove. So think how good
I'm so excited
on a wood cook stove.
Oh my gosh, next level. Like you were saying, your mom, cooks them in one thing and they taste totally different, but she said it's the same stuff. The way you cook stuff, there are chemical reactions that happen, which means that based on how you cook it, or I should say bake it, because those are two different things, it produces different results. Like you could use the same exact dough, but it produces different results based on the methodology that you're using.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd kill for some of those rolls right now, though. I'd kill for some of those cookies that Shelly's daughter made. Those things.
Delicious.
I snuck 2 or 3 of those and hid them before she left. So, all right. Hey, guys, if y'all are coming in, if you got questions for Jane or Leslie about herbal or sourdough, put them in there, and we'll get to them here in just a few minutes. And Bill.
So Bill had a question about, he would like to know more about pokeweed.
Okay, if we go down this rabbit hole, everybody listening has to promise me that they're not going to go start dosing pokeweed. Can I get a thumbs up if you promise that? Because I will not talk about it if you don't thumbs up. Okay. So,
I about spit my water out when you started that.
It's just
I
that
knew where it was
It's
gonna
a
go.
rabbit hole. It
it's
is.
like it's a huge rabbit hole. It's extremely nuanced, and I just have to speak for the poisonous plants for a second because they get so much crap and so much disinformation about them is spreading around. And I mean, we can go off on that even deeper. But poisonous plants, most poisonous plants that we know of, were used by Native Americans medicinally. Okay. And it was in very low doses with a very specific preparation by medicine elders who knew that wisdom, held that wisdom, knew the people they were dosing, knew the plants. You know, nobody was messing around with it. And so poke is an extremely powerful medicine, but it is an extremely low dose medicine because it is purgative. So if you dosed poke like you dosed anything else, you would end up with gastrointestinal distress, vomiting, diarrhea. You would not be a happy camper. You might become dehydrated. You might have to go to the hospital and get your stomach pumped. It's not necessarily going to kill you unless you take a lot, which I don't know why you would or how you would. But it's not a pleasant or safe thing to mess around with. But, you know, we all know that like poke salad is perfectly delicious meal. So when you take the young leaves and boil them some people don't even boil them in a change of water. Some people just boil them and eat that. Some people boil them in a couple changes of water. So the leaves, yes, absolutely. We've all eaten the leaves, especially young leaves. They don't have a lot of toxins in them. What I'm talking about in terms of the gastrointestinal distress and the toxicity, that's going to be concentrated in the root and in the seeds of the berries, not the flesh of the berries, the seeds specifically. So, for example, you can take a pokeberry, swallow it whole. You're going to get a little bit of a cleanse action going on, and you're not crunching the seeds, so those toxins aren't released in your body. You will pass the seed through your stool. Okay, so one way that poke is used as medicine is by swallowing a berry or whatever prescribed number of berries the person you're working with tells you to take based on what your scenario is. The most potent medicine, though, is concentrated in the root of poke. And that's where all the toxins are. That's where all the medicine is. It's a highly concentrated medicine. And so poke root is one of the strongest lymphatic movers that exists in the herbal world. And it's actually being studied in breast cancer trials for treating breast cancer. So it has a lot of really potent action, especially for full body stagnation, for viruses that aren't responding to anything else and aren't going away on their own. Lots of times it's indicated when people are just consistently sick and nothing is helping, and you feel like you need to just give the body something else, some big, powerful kick. That's when like a low dose poke remedy might come into play. And so you're not going to determine this yourself. You're going to work with an herbalist or somebody who understands what it means to be a low dose plant and understands your body and your sensitivity. Because low dose for one person might be 1 drop, you know, and low dose for another person might be 7 drops. And the difference between that for the wrong person could mean that you're making yourself sicker. And so like, that's why it's so nuanced and there's so many caveats. But poke is an extremely powerful medicine and a remedy that is helpful to have on hand. The root of it, I keep a tincture and I keep an infused oil in my apothecary at all times. Topically, it's going to also help with lymphatic drainage, swollen lymph nodes, lumps in the breasts, anything related to the lymph tissue, and it's going to help to move that through. So that being said, I do not recommend messing with this on your own. Also, as with any herb, you know, if you're on any pharmaceuticals, if you have any other diagnosed conditions, then you have to absolutely understand how that's going to interact with taking an herbal remedy.
Yeah, you always hear, and that's the thing. A lot of times you hear with herbal stuff, of course, it's quackery is what everybody want. You know, most people want to say, and then they concentrate on the bad stuff. It's like, oh my God, yeah, this person took poke, and they're telling you all the negative stuff. And it's like you said, the poison, the quote poisonous plants, anything anything period is poisonous at the right dose. You drink too much water. You drink too much water at once, you'll die. If you've got nothing but pure oxygen without the nitrogen and the other stuff in the air, you're probably going to die. So it's all relative on how much you take.
Yeah, the poison is always in the dose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also a lot of the
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say a lot of the like things we hear that are quackery or trying to prove that herbal medicine is quackery, the person has used the wrong plant, the wrong part of the plant, the wrong dose, the wrong extraction method. You know, they're not actually using herbal medicine in the way that it is supposed to be used.
I think that people also need to understand that drug companies are not your friend. I mean, all you need to do is watch those shows about the opioid crisis in Kentucky and Virginia and all of that, or even the stuff that happened in 2020. Drug companies are not in the business to make people healthy. They're in the business to keep people sick. Yeah. So I don't know. To me, the stuff that they're peddling is just as bad as what some people think herbal medicine is. It's not. They're not out to be your friend. So yes, they're going to make people who practice herbal medicine or go that route, holistic, all of that kind of thing. They try to make them out to be quacks because they don't want that competition. They don't want people finding out that there's things out there that actually can help them and make them healthier. That's an all natural alternative. They don't want that. So that's a lot of the bad publicity that I think that herbal remedies get.
Yeah, and the fact that we call herbal medicine alternative medicine and we call modern medicine conventional medicine or traditional medicine is backwards, you know, because like the original medicine is plants. And then this is a whole rabbit hole that we should not go down, and plus, Erica from Chronically Healthy said she was going to do a podcast episode on this whole thing. So I hope that that's happening or has happened. But you know, if you look at the history of herbalism and homeopathy and all these quote unquote alternative medicines that were thriving at a certain point, and then you look at history, like what is the point when they stopped thriving and like modern medicine took over? It's like with the formation of the AMA.
Yeah. Rockefeller.
And the Rockefellers.
Yeah.
Yep. So hello.
Oh yeah. I watched numerous documentaries on that about how Rockefeller did all that and everything. So, and I don't know. And the thing with herbals, and we've talked about it before, like most everybody's in the society, in society now is wanting that quick fix, whether it be feeling better or whether it's food. Jane, you know, it's a lot easier for me to go buy a loaf of Wonder Bread than mix up some sourdough and do that. But with the herbal stuff, it takes just a little bit longer. You're not going to go out and pick something and eat it, and you're like, oh, my headache's gone. It's more of building up in your system and taking a little bit longer generally, isn't it, Leslie?
Well, there are some herbs that have like an instantaneous effect on acute situations for sure, and especially if you understand your dose. But I do think that the premise of herbal medicine is different versus the premise of modern medicine, because when we're looking at the premise of herbal medicine across traditions, because there are many traditions of herbal medicine, the foundational key is that our goal is to have optimal health of our body system from the ground up. It's not like, let's not worry about what we eat or what we breathe or whether we've been outside or how much blue light we're staring at, you know, and then just take a pill. It's like, no, let's fix our foundations. Let's be healthy from the bones, from the roots, from the molecular level. Let's tend to our health. Let's nourish our tissues so that they can function optimally. Not let's let the tissues and cells continue to function poorly, but then pop a pill on it. You know what I mean? So it's a very different like premise, I think.
Yeah. And it goes, I mean, going in with the sourdough, we know the sourdough bread is so much better for you and your gut health. I mean, I've heard of people stop eating regular, you know, Wonder Bread and go with the sourdough, and just all the stuff in that, it just helps their gut so much. And it's like, let's start doing that. I mean, if honestly, in my opinion, if you started doing herbal remedies and started doing sourdough, your life is going to improve tremendously. I mean, if
Well,
you just cut it out.
I mean, just not even just taking them in, but it's like the practice of reconnecting to these ancestral skills and these ancestral ways of being. And, you know, just the act of being outside, knowing what season it is, having your hands in the dirt, you know, harvesting the plants, building a relationship with the plants. And I'm sure, Jane, you can speak to like what it means when you're kneading dough. Like, how ancestral is that?
Mhm.
Like, our great grannies were doing that. And you know, the yeast that's coming from our environment, it's from where we are. Our yeast is different based on what location we're in. Like, that's an active living thing you have to relate to. And so you change when you're in those kinds of relationships with what you're doing and how you're living.
I will also say, just though, in this conversation, I feel like it is also important to recognize that there is a whole lot of privilege in being able to have the time and the mental space in your head to think about what you're eating, and being able to devote time to learning about herbs and sourdough and to make all of this stuff. Because if I was living paycheck to paycheck, if I was living where I was just trying to make ends meet, I would not have time, space, or capacity to be able to delve into all this sort of stuff, which, and again, that's another rabbit hole where it like goes into having community where like we each can take on a different part and support each other. But I don't even know what I'm trying to say other than I think when I first started to get into sourdough and make everything myself and blah, 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 I did not also recognize that I had so much privilege and that I had the time and the space and the capacity and the capabilities to learn all of this. I don't even know. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's, I always want to be very conscious about not saying that people who aren't thinking about this, well, they're bad, or that they don't care about their health or their children or what they're consuming. Like, not everybody has the space for this to be their top priority right now. And so it's beautiful when those of us who do have the time and space and capacity, when we can kind of do that and then share those gifts with each other.
I think
If that
that
makes
goes
any
back.
kind of sense.
I think it goes back to what you said when you first started talking, when you were talking about, you know, the groups out there that just kind of make it complicated, and your passion is to make it accessible. I mean, if you can make it easy for somebody, like a single mom that's at home that doesn't have time to think about getting up and making bread, so, or having a loaf so she has bread for all of it. If you can break it down to make it like 3 steps or something, you know, for somebody to be able to go, well, wait a minute, that's not as complicated as I thought it was. I think I can do that, you know, and bringing that awareness to people, because I think that you find the solutions to things when you're looking for them. So if you can get out there and make that accessible to people, then they'll start thinking about it. Maybe they weren't thinking about it before, but then they see you and how easy it is to do it because you're making it easy for them. I mean, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
It's a group and community effort, and there shouldn't be, I feel like when I first started delving into this world, there was a lot of like, at least I felt like I observed there was judgment and shame. Like, if you're not doing it this way, well, then you're not healthy, or you don't care, or you're this or that. And that's not just, that's not good, but that's not okay. That's not acceptable. And
or even saying a statement like, I would never feed my kids that kind of bread. You know, I mean, well, who cares what you would never do with your kids? I mean, you know, it's like, sometimes like you said, it's hard to get in the right space where that's even something that you think about. It's because, you know, I think it's something that you got to be searching for, but you're not even going to be searching for it unless you hear somebody out there talking about it.
If you don't know, you don't know what you don't know, right? Exactly. Like, and you can't, like,
and part of it too, and Jane, you hit on it, community. That's the biggest thing. If I can raise the crap out of meat here at my property, I don't have the time a lot of times to know every single plant that is on my property. But I've got Leslie that knows. She walked up the driveway one day and was like, "You got this and this and this," and it went over my head. I was like, "Holy crap!" So if I've got her, she can teach me tidbits here and there. And if I need something, I can get it from her, and then I can trade her a lamb. Because she's not at the space where she can raise sheep right now. Jane, same thing with you. If it's like, hey, I want I want 3 loaves of bread every week is what I want. Your bread that's good for you. We can trade something out. It's like, you give me 3 loaves of bread, I'll trade you whatever, a leg of lamb each week, whatever you want to do. And then slowly you can teach me, small things and do it that way. That's the key is take it in smaller bites. If I have a conversation every week with one of y'all, I'm going to pick up small little things. And then finally, after a while, it's like, hey, I've picked up all these small things. And it's, to me, people make it like you're cramming for finals in college or something.
Yeah.
Like, got to know it all right now. So.
And I think what people miss is that, you don't have to do everything a certain way to be healthy. You don't have to have everything to homestead. It's a cumulative thing. If you do one thing in a day that makes your life better, then your life is cumulatively better. If you spend 1 minute a day looking at a plant or feeding your starter or reading something about raising sheep, then your life is cumulatively better. You don't have to have all the time in the world, all the money in the world. You can do tiny things to make your life better if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. So we've got a few comments and questions. Bill said he's most interested in wildcrafting and herbal medicine because his wife is battling leukemia. And to this point, they've been able to hold it at bay by eating differently and healthier. And then Forrest says, can you book a private consultation during the festival?
Yeah, so I'm doing mini consultations during the festival time, which will be 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. If you want a longer full consultation, then just reach out to me because we can figure that out too.
And Forrest, we can connect you with her if you want to talk to her beforehand. And then he said, would the sourdough flavor overpower the taste of bread pudding? Huh.
It's also probably not. The flavor of sourdough is super dependent on how long you leave it to ferment. So the longer that you leave the sourdough starter and the sourdough bread or whatever it is that you're making to ferment, the stronger the sourdough flavor will be. So if you don't leave it super long to ferment, it's not going to be that strong. The bigger question that I have had to discuss with people is they're annoyed that their sourdough doesn't taste strong enough. And they're like, how can I slow down the ferment even more so that I can actually get that sour flavor in whatever it is that I'm making? Bread pudding would be fine.
My question is Forrest going to have bread pudding at the festival? Because I'll cut somebody for some good bread pudding.
Well, I've never made bread pudding, but maybe I have to start experimenting now.
You've got right at a month to perfect it.
I know. I don't know. Is bread pudding a very American thing? I've never tasted this in my entire life.
I kind of feel like it's more of an English thing.
I don't care.
Oh, well, again, I grew up in France, so I don't know if it's an English thing.
I think it's kind of an English thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's probably where it originated. But Randy absolutely loves bread pudding.
Well, maybe I'll have to play around with it then.
Like Thursday night, if a big thing of it shows up, I'm fine. I think there might be some banana pudding made Thursday night too. So.
Oh, I can't do. Oh, me and bananas are not. Ugh, can't. Someone else can do that.
It's banana pudding.
That's just more for me and Chuck, diabetic Chuck.
Oh,
I feel bad that both bananas Yeah, both bananas and peanut butter. Both me and my husband, they're super popular, but neither one of us wants anything to do with them.
Really?
Oh, girl, peanut butter is my favorite.
I
My
keep
whole
I
life.
wish. My life would be so much easier if I liked it.
I keep peanut butter and cracker in the truck if I need a snack or something. So
That's great. I love that for you.
Yeah, Bill came back and said it's English for sure.
Okay.
So,
Very British. Yeah.
There was a lady that had a barbecue place in Bowling Green. She made banana. It was bread pudding, but it had a bourbon in it. That was just.
Oh.
It was yes. I mean, we ate the snot out of that stuff.
oh, here you go. It said Forrest said he's not sure, but I sell chocolate and blueberry bread pudding with white chocolate and pecan praline sauce.
Wow.
Yes. That sounds
Fancy.
amazing.
Forrest, you need to call me tomorrow. I might have to put an order in like talking like a whole sheet pan of that stuff.
See, I
Jason's gonna
love
need
that
to
though.
survive the festival.
I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Randy's going to want a sheet pan of that too.
Yeah. Well,
I love when people do sourdough in like non-bread, like non-traditional things. That's fantastic.
Well, the funniest thing about the banana pudding deal is Chuck Peoples got there late. Chuck was down there, and I mean, my wife made like the full sheet pan size banana
like a
pudding.
big pan. It was like it was bigger than a 9x13. It was like a big cake pan size.
Yeah, I think it's like those big catering trays, the big aluminum catering trays that are like 6 inches deep. Chuck got there, and there was just like a little bit left. Chuck just grabbed the serving spoon and was eating the rest of it out and licking the spoon. And my wife comes down. She's like, she said something. Chuck is like, I'm diabetic or something. She goes, you need to quit eating so much of that. He goes, I've got more insulin in my bag. He said, I'll just shoot up with that. It'll be okay.
He's the medical guy. Yeah. He's the medical guy.
That just speaks to the quality of Whitney's banana pudding.
Yes.
Yeah. It is slap your mama good for real. It's delicious. That's
all Matt from Yardbird talks about. He texted me like a week ago. He's like, I'll be down there. He's like, is your wife making banana pudding? I'm like, yes. We cannot have a conversation without that coming up. He's like, I have to make sure that she's doing that.
That's like, yes, for real. The only reason that anybody talks to Jason, for real.
It pretty much is. Skames girl said bread pudding is a staple in southern Louisiana. Yeah.
Oh.
Forrest said he sent you a pic.
Let's see.
Send it to me. I want to see it.
Holy crap.
What?
Can y'all see that?
No.
Barely.
Send it to me.
All right.
Send it to all of us.
Yeah. See, I need to learn that sort of stuff. I signed up and took a class like 6 years ago because again, it's the French influence in me. I was like, I do sourdough, but now I need to know how to do sourdough in pastry form. So I can do sourdough pastry stuff.
Wow.
But I need to learn that like American Southern cooking element now.
Whoa, that looks delicious.
Oh my God.
Jane,
look at that sauce. What?
All right, amazing.
Holy moly, that looks amazing.
Wait, is this being served at the festival with the Cajun?
I think so.
Aren't we all going to need doses of insulin at the festival?
Probably.
Well, I'll be hooked up to insulin pumps.
Jeez. That looks
I'll bring my
delicious.
herbs that help regulate blood sugar.
Please. Yes.
There you
please.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, look, that's the whole scam of the festival right there. Leslie, you pulled the veil back. Forrest is bringing all this food, and then Leslie's going to sit in the corner like the little witch and be like, I'm gonna sell you this stuff to make you feel better.
Yeah, once you feel bad and have a food coma, come see me.
That's amazing.
She's the herbal crack dealer.
Yeah, exactly.
The get rich scheme is exposed.
Yeah.
So, good night.
Forrest, we can get in on this together, okay?
Skanes girl, what does Skanes girl say?
So she says, I am mostly carnivore, but I am hoping sourdough will be the solution to my lack of bread.
I'll tell you, that was the hardest part when I was doing carnivore, was not eating bread.
I mean, if I were to be like a pedantic person, you could make the argument that like yeast are live living things, so like you're being kind of carnivorous when you eat sourdough bread.
I love it.
That's great.
I don't tolerate bread and grains very easily, but sourdough I tolerate very well, if that helps anybody. I mean, everyone's body's different, but that's been my experience. I've never been good at eating, like I've always felt bad eating bread, grains, stuff like that, but sourdough I can eat without any problem. So
sourdough crackers, those like that well, right?
Oh yeah.
Crackers, yeah, those are good.
So good.
I started doing a consultation with Chronically Healthy with Erica from Chronically Healthy. And so right now I am the very first thing at the beginning, you do this, like it's an elimination diet. So you have, it's like no caffeine, no sugar, no gluten, only certain kinds of meat, no sugar,
no peanut butter.
No peanut butter, for real. Like that, out of everything, that is the thing that has pissed me off, right? So I'm like 3 weeks into this, but one of the things that I have found out, which through, like you do blood work and all of that kind of stuff, we figured out that I have a leaky gut, and it's causing some of the problems that I have. So once you go through eliminating all that stuff, then you like re-add, or you bring back foods, like you'll eat something like, say, cheese or something for 3 days and see how your body reacts to it. And you're able to figure out like what you should be eating and what you shouldn't be eating. And absolutely no processed food, which for real, we shouldn't be eating that anyway, right? But one of the things that I figured out, and I haven't even started reintroducing things back in, I feel like I have a gluten allergy or a problem eating gluten. And so Erica was telling me, because I asked her, I said, I just really don't think I can live my life without eating bread. Like I can for real make a meal out of those rolls from Texas Roadhouse. I just don't know that I can stop eating bread. And I said, I love sourdough. Is that something that I can eat? Because I know going through the fermentation process, it breaks stuff down more so than when you're just eating white bread, right?
Yep.
And she said, yes, absolutely. That's something that, I should be able, it's going to be a while before we introduce that in, but that's something that I should be able to eat. So I feel like I need to get my sourdough game up and learn how to make this happen. I've got a starter in my fridge. I stuck it in my fridge because I knew I wasn't going to do anything with it for at least 30 days. But I'm hoping that I can figure out how to, because I don't want to go back to feeling bad. I don't want to go back to the inflammation. I don't want to, go back to the pain and the inability to lose weight and the bloating and all of those things. I don't want to go back to that. So, yeah.
Well, I was. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I was recently watching or reading something where they were talking about how a lot of the issues that people have with bread isn't specifically gluten. It's the way that the wheat is treated and the way the wheat is added into, like the way the wheat is used and things that are added to the wheat after the wheat has been stripped of all of the stuff. And so it ends up being that we say that the issue that our systems are having, that the issue is gluten, but it isn't gluten. It's all of the stuff that has been taken out and all of the stuff that has been added back in, which is why a lot of people who they have problem with bread when they're here, and then they go travel somewhere else and then they eat bread and they're like, I was totally fine with it. And one of the things that sourdough does is help to break down just all of the different things that the body has a problem with. And I don't know. I just feel like I need to be a little bit of a spokesperson for gluten because, like, maybe it's not always gluten, but
Okay.
all of the other mysterious stuff that gets added in.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: is so like my sourdough, I use all-purpose flour to feed my sourdough. Is that, am I just putting in that uber processed stuff that I should I not be using that, or is there a
Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna sound super pretentious, but like what brand, like I in my experience, just in like results that I can see with my eyes, brand matters.
I get my flour from Azure Standard. It's just
from where?
Azure Standard.
Oh, I don't know that. I only use King Arthur.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people use King Arthur with sourdough. Azure Standard is a company that they have like organic stuff. They deliver all over the United States. They have drop points and stuff like that. You can get all kinds of food from them.
Well, I mean, I have zero knowledge about, like, I can't speak. I mean, that sounds great and awesome. I just know from personal experience, because when I first started out, again, the science part of my husband is a scientist, so I've been trained in my brain to be like, let's try a whole bunch of different things and let's actually test it ourselves. I have gotten noticeably different results based on the brand of flour that I use for sourdough and for bread, and the way it sits in our stomachs, and the way people who are gluten sensitive or, you know, what have you, brand matters. Like, where the type of flour you're using matters.
So are you using like King Arthur all-purpose, or is there a certain kind?
My default is King Arthur. I've tried what is it? There's like a gold medal, like, is it called like gold something, like gold medal brand? And I've tried all the different. Say what?
I mean, because regardless of the brand, is it like all-purpose flour or wheat flour or bread flour or?
The only difference between like all-purpose and bread flour and all that is the protein content. And the difference that the protein content is going to make is on the amount of gluten that you can develop in the bread. And when you're making bread, the point of gluten is basically it's the scaffolding. So like if you're building a house, you're going to have the bones and the framework of it. And when you're making bread, gluten is that same thing. So if you have a higher protein content, you're going to have a better scaffolding. You're going to be able to have better structure and bones and get a better rise and a better structure out of the bread. It's more about aesthetics.
Okay. I've used a flour. Have you ever used einkorn? Because it's like a different species of wheat or something that supposedly doesn't have all of that stuff added onto it. I think it's closer to what would be used in Europe. So I often do like in my sourdough, it's like part einkorn and then part King Arthur bread flour. But I find I can tolerate the one with einkorn like better than if it's just straight up. So
yeah, just because it's more, or not even more, it's just less, right? It's there's just less stuff done to it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know if you guys know the answer to this, but Skane's girl wants to know if she can drink beer on carnivore.
No.
By James' definition, it's a living thing, right?
I mean, listen, I'm a baker. My husband, he brews beer, and that's a living thing. Okay, because you don't feed it and water it. Yeah, we are we're a yeasty family. Yeah, hey, if it makes you happy, go for it.
Yeah. Kill it and grill it. Hey, from Nebraska. I've not seen you.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for jumping in.
Awesome.
Now, if you're gonna do carnivore, you might just drink pure grain alcohol and just straight alcohol or nothing else. So, all right.
Bill says that King Arthur is the only flour that his wife uses. Yay!
See, my mom uses nothing but white lily, is what she uses.
That's what my mama uses.
Well, and then my wife uses, a lot of times she uses King Arthur. So she's kind of she likes King Arthur and uses that. She used it when she had her bakery all the time. So it's great to be grill it. It's great.
I don't know anything about other brands, but I will say, like, obviously, I feel like I should be getting paid by King Arthur, but they are also employee owned, which is like they've got great work ethic. Like they are ethical.
Well, you need to call them and tell them, like, I pimp your product. I need a little cash.
Yo, pay me out. Come on.
Or just pay you in flour.
Yeah.
There you go.
Actually, that would be more valuable than money.
Do it. Do what you do. Do an Instagram thing with King Arthur and tag him in it, and boom, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I made all my money. So, right, Shelly?
Sure.
Hey, I did. Awesome thing. I've got a sponsor coming up for my morning show. I'm not going to tell it on here. You got to come watch the morning show, and I'll tell everybody about what sponsor we got for the morning show. Yeah, Forrest, it is in a bag.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's being goofy or asking a real question.
It's in a sack.
It's like, it's like how you used to prank call people. Do you have King Arthur in a bag?
Sir Walter Raleigh in a can.
Oh my gosh.
Oh Lord.
Forrest is busting out dad jokes. So,
That's amazing.
yeah. Hey, before.
Oh, here you go. This is what he's saying. All right. So, do we want to quickly go over the festival? Yay or nay?
Well, the big stuff. Get your tickets. The rest of this month, if you buy a ticket, you are entered to win. This class is sold out. I have the golden ticket, the last one left, in my possession. So if you want to go to the refuge class, the only way you're going to get in it now is to buy a ticket and possibly win that class, because it sold out like 2 or 3 days ago. So if you buy a ticket the rest of this month, you're entered to win a chance to win that refuge class.
So if you buy 5 tickets, you get 5 entries. If you buy 10 tickets, you get 10 entries. Go to www.kentuckysustainableliving.com and purchase. There's a link right there. You can purchase tickets to the festival.
Yeah, on the very top of the page.
We have tons of workshops, including Leslie with the herbal workshop and the herbal walk and the advanced class. We've got Jane with the sourdough workshop. There's going to be a chicken processing. There's going to be canning, how to make biochar. There's going to be a dog training class, how to make compost, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of skills. You get all of that for $35 for the whole weekend, man. You can't get a better value anywhere else. You want to get into homesteading and start learning how to be self-sufficient. This is where you need to be, July 18th through the 20th.
Yeah. And also Saturday night is the charity auction for Caleb House. I'm freaking I'm stoked about it. I'll be honest, truth in advertising, I was nervous about it. But honestly, God kicked the doors wide open on this thing. We have got so much awesome stuff and so many experiences. A lot of this stuff you can buy, but some of the stuff that's going to come with it, you really can't buy for the charity auction. But that is Saturday night, 5:30-ish, right after the festival wraps up for the day. We're going to have the charity auction. It's free to come. Anybody can come to it. You can bid on all kinds of stuff. I mean, Leslie's donating some stuff to the auction. What you're doing, a consultation, and
I'm doing 2 things. I'm going to donate an hour-long, well, it's a full consultation. You get to spend an hour with me on a call, but it's an extensive consultation. So I'll give you a questionnaire and I'll work up a protocol for you, and then we'll spend an hour talking about it. I'm also going to donate a custom herbal workshop that can happen either online or in person if you're within a certain distance of the Nashville area, for yourself and friends, and it'll be custom. So what do you want to learn about? And then we'll figure it out and we'll have a workshop together. So.
And see, that's the thing. Forrest, you could buy the consultation and buy the herbal class all in one, and then you've done it. You've given money to Caleb House, and then you get Leslie. So it's a win-win on that. But yeah, I mean, I'm super thrilled, Leslie, that you're doing that. I mean, it thrills me to no end, and just some of the stuff that people have poured out. I talked to another lady today. She's donating a bunch of coffee. So we're going to have coffee. We're going to do like some 50 cal ammo cans with coffee beans and bullets. And it's going to be beans and bullets. And we're going to do bourbon and coffee. And it'll be bourbon and bullets. All kinds of stuff like that. So I'm super excited. But that is Saturday night. It's free to come to that auction. Sit down. We're going to have barbecue. So if you want to grab a plate of barbecue and sit down and bid on some awesome stuff for the best cause that I know of, honestly, we'd love to have you there. So
they're killing me in the comments with the dad jokes. It's cracking me up. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but that's all I've got. Shelly, what have you got? Closing comments, snide remarks. I did post.
Snide remarks. What is that all about?
I don't know. I used to say that. So, but Leslie's website is posted in the description of this video. Jane does not have a website. She goes incognito. So the only way you're gonna talk to Jane and learn the sourdough secrets is to come to the festival.
You got to buy a ticket for the festival.
Right.
She's a gatekeeper.
I do want to give a plug for Leslie though, because Leslie has herbal classes that you can take. You can sign up for. She puts out content every month on Patreon. Helps you identify different plants, tell you what you can use them for. She has monthly meetings. You can sign up to do that and learn about herbal medicine and all of that. And not only that, y'all, you can hire her within a certain radius. You can hire her to come to your place, and she'll do a walk wherever you want to go and help you find herbs on your property and identify them and all that stuff. Hopefully you won't get covered with ticks, but it's a lot of fun. We had a good time. So yeah. I highly recommend you check her out at schooloferthandawe.com and see what she has to offer, because she's pretty stinking smart.
Thank you. Thanks for the plug.
All right.
And another plug for Leslie. Before I started into this whole world, the way I got in was I was looking for classes for my son, and my son was a student of Leslie's, and it was through her that we were introduced, and our world opened up to nature and plants and herbs and just the magic of all of that. And it is thanks to Leslie.
Well, plug for all of y'all. Y'all are all amazing too. So thank you for plugging me, but also this festival is my favorite thing. I look forward to it every year. So please don't sleep on coming, everybody. Like, get your ticket. It is so, so, so worth your time and energy. It's full of amazing people with amazing skills, and all of them are nice. It's cool. You can just go up and talk to people and learn stuff. It's great.
There's no mean people.
I love that.
We pick the mean people out.
Yeah. Jason doesn't let them in. He stands at the door and he says, "You go."
Yeah.
I love that as a stamp for people. Nice. Just this person. Nice.
Really though, it's always such a good group of people that shows up.
It's definitely a time to come and meet the like-minded people. Find your tribe, because the people who are there are searching for the same things that you are. So you've already got that out of the way. You can just go up and start talking to people, and you'll leave with friends for real.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And everything's air conditioned too. So don't freak out about that. It's going to be 70 degrees in the place.
Except not on the plant walk.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be outside.
Yeah. You'll be outside, and you'll have to be outside to get your bread pudding too from Forrest. But I'll sweat for a few minutes to get some bread pudding. So, all right, guys. we have strung this out. What'd Forrest say? I'm going to have a, what's it say?
He said, I'm going to have an in-class sign at my booth.
Me too.
Like, we can't sell you food right now. I'm in class.
Yeah. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on here. I cannot wait. We're sitting right at, what is today? The 19th? Yeah, we're 29 days away from it.
Yeah,
If my
I think
math
so.
is math. Yeah. So, guys, I'm super excited. Jane, Leslie, I appreciate y'all coming on here, spending an hour with us. And I mostly appreciate everybody in the chat that was watching this. Guys, this is part of the reason we do this, is to talk to y'all and to educate y'all and give you something valuable. We're not doing Mr. Beast dumb stuff. We're doing stuff that matters in life. Two of these things, you know, they matter in your life. So, guys, we appreciate that. And we will see y'all. I'll be on tomorrow morning. I don't know if it's going to be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, but I will post it. But I'll be on in the morning. And we appreciate it. And we'll see y'all later. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.